Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We wish to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land within the Shire of Chittering, the Ewart and Whadjuk peoples. We would like to pay respect to the elders of the Noongar Nation, past and present, who have walked and cared for the land. We acknowledge and respect their continuing culture and the contributions made to this region. I declare the meeting open at 7 p.m. And please note, as per Council Resolution 130423, this meeting is being live streamed. Item 2, record of attendances. Apologies, approved leave of absence. In attendance, we have all of Council. From the staff, we have Melinda Prinsloo, the Chief Executive Officer, Mr Scott Clayton, the Deputy Chief Executive Officer, Mr Jake Whistler, Executive Manager of Development Service, Mr Leah Pudoto, Executive Manager of Technical Services, and Anna Bateman, Executive Assistant, also taking minutes this evening. Members of the general public, there is 1. Media, there is 0. Apologies, there are 0. Approved leave of absence, there are 0. Attendances. Councillors are to advise their attendance in their role as an elected member at community activities and meetings. Councillors, are there any additions or edits to the list of attendance on the screen? Thank you, Councillor. Item 3, disclosures of interest. Councillors, are there any potential conflicts of interest before any matter before the Council tonight? No potential conflicts of interest. Thank you. Item 4, public question time. Response to previous public questions taken on notice, there are 0. Public question time, limited to 15 minutes in total. Each member of the public is limited to 2 minutes to ask their questions, and questions will be limited to 2 per person. Please state your name and address and ask the questions. Are there any public questions?
Can I make an observation?
You can ask a question. If you can phrase that into a question.
Oh, it's going to be difficult. No, it's all right.
Okay, there are no public questions. Item 5, presentations, petitions and deputations. There are 0. Item 6, applications for leave of absence. Councillors, are there any applications for leave? Councillor Campbell, just 1 minute. Councillor Campbell.
Yeah, just seeking leave from the 8th to the 20th of July.
So that takes you out of the forum and the OCM?
Yep.
Okay, good.
I'll move it.
Thank you. Councillor Campbell the mover, Councillor Angus is the seconder. You can talk to me if you want.
No, all good. Thanks.
Okay. Councillors, anyone speaking against the motion? No one speaking against the motion. I'll declare carried without dissent 7-0. Thank you. Any other applications for leave? Okay, we'll move on to item 7, confirmation of minutes. Councillors, you have an officer's recommendation that the minutes of ordinary council meeting held on Wednesday the 21st of May 2025 as published on the Shire website be confirmed. Can I please have a mover for the officer's recommendation? Councillor Ross, thank you. Seconder? Ooh, Councillor Campbell. Councillor Ross.
Thanks, Mr President. Just to confirm that the minutes have been prepared to their normal high standard and I believe they're accurate. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Ross. Councillor Campbell.
Nothing further to add, thanks.
Councillor, anyone speaking against the officer recommendation? Councillor Ross, right of reply. Okay, Councillor, if no one speaking against the officer's recommendation, I'll declare carried without dissent 7-0. Item 8, announcements from the presiding member. First one this evening. The Shire recently received a gold award from the Australian Reporting Authority. It's an important international recognition that affirms our commitment to transparency, accountability and excellence in local government reporting, strengthening community trust, supporting better decision making and setting a benchmark for performance. The Shire was one of only 4 local governments in WA receiving this award and the only Shire amongst cities. So the other award recipients were the major metropolitan type Shire. So we were certainly batting above our grade. So congratulations to the administrative staff headed by the CEO to put that together. And of course Zelda, I think she had a major part to play in that. The next item is the Chittering Bindoon CWA celebrated their 80th birthday this year. So congratulations to our CWA on 80 wonderful years of dedicated service, community spirit and making a lasting difference at home. So congratulations. On Friday the 6th of June, we had the pleasure of welcoming 11 new citizens to the Chittering community during the citizenship ceremony. We congratulate them and welcome them to the Shire. Last announcement from me on a future event coming up on Saturday the 14th of June. Actually not this one, sorry, there's 2. On the 14th of June, the Chittering Fire Recognition Evening was held to acknowledge the contributions of our volunteer firefighters. It was an opportunity to formally recognise their ongoing commitment to community safety. And the last one I have is this coming Sunday, the 22nd of June, will be Wear Your Wellies. Been a while, we're back. Unfortunately, the rain is supporting it. This is a fantastic day for families and community members to get outside, enjoy nature and have a bit of muddy fun. We encourage everyone to come along and be part of this great local tradition. I think Councillor Curtis just wants to say something.
Yes, Mr. President, got an announcement that the sad passing of Wayne Beard on 28th of May. He was a driving force behind the development of the men's shed in Bindoon. And I think Council send their condolences to the Pat and the family.
Thank you, Councillor Curtis. That concludes announcements. Item 9, reports. Development Services. First report is DS 010625, Management Responsibility over Lot 8016 on Deposited Plan 428085. We have an officer's recommendation that Council accepts the Management Authority and advises the Department of Planning and Lands of this resolution. So that is the officer's recommendation. Can I have a mover for the officer's recommendation?
I'll move.
Councillor Campbell. Seconder, please. Councillor Hughes. Let me turn this on. Apologies. Councillor Campbell.
Thank you. So I support the officer's recommendation for the Shire to accept management of this 4-acre piece of Crown land in Lower Chittering. I suppose the piece of land is of strategic significance and can be used as a nature corridor, including walks, trails, for the public to use in the future. As there's no financial burden or impact to the Shire or the budget, as we manage some of the reserves, it makes sense to take management of this piece of land. So support the officer's recommendation.
Thank you, Councillor Campbell. Councillor Hughes.
Thank you, Councillor King. The only thing I'd like to add to that is that there is, through this parcel of land, runs the Marbling Brook, which is one of our significant waterways in the area. So I think this is a good opportunity to give that some love and make sure that that section is protected, because a lot of it does go through private property.
Thank you, Councillor Hughes. Councillor, is anyone speaking against the officer's recommendation? Anyone wish to speak for? Councillor Curtis.
Can I make an amendment on this one?
You can make an amendment.
I support the the whole thing. I don't think this bridle trail would suit this area. So I'd like to put in prohibit number 3, prohibit the
So, Councillor Curtis, just before you go on, this resolution makes no representation regarding the bridle trail other than it's a possibility in the future. So this resolution just accepts the management authority and then ultimately advises the Department of Planning and Land and Heritage of this resolution. If this was to become part of the bridle trail, it would be part of a separate resolution, a different resolution. It's not part of this one currently.
Okay, then I don't have to put an amendment there. But I'll support the recommendation.
In the future, if it's proposed to become part of a bridle trail, you would have opportunity at that time to provide those concerns.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Curtis. Anyone else? Okay, Councillor Campbell, right of reply.
Nothing further to add. Thanks, President King.
Councillors, I'll put this one to the vote. All those in favour? Carried 7-0. Thank you. Right, next item is DS020625, Amendment to Council Policy 5.1, Concerts, Events and Organised. Greetings. Councillors, you have an officer's recommendation that Council adopt the amended policy 5.1. Can I have a mover for the officer's recommendation? Councillor Ross, thank you. Seconder, Councillor Campbell. Councillor Ross.
Thanks, Mr. President. I think this is a timely matter to draw to Council's attention because with the improved transport access to this shire now and the growing population, we've become more attractive as an event venue, and it's very important that we've got clear and focused policy around the matter so that everything works well when people do want to hold significant events here or even smaller events. I'm happy to support this.
Thank you, Councillor Ross. Councillor Campbell.
I suppose the only thing additional I have to add is it's good that we've broken them out into different types of events from small to large so we can manage the right size of events and obviously put the statutory requirements against those. So not making it arduous for those smaller groups to run an event. So support the officer's recommendation.
Thank you, Councillor Campbell. Council, is anyone speaking against? Anyone wish to speak for? I'll just add quickly and just for the, obviously for transparency, that the fees for community groups are essentially waived other than for the large event. So I guess it shows where demonstrates that we're supporting our local community groups in this policy. But, okay, Councillor Ross, you have right of reply.
No, thank you.
Thank you, councillors. I'll put this to the vote. All those in favour? Carried 7-0. Thank you. Technical services, there are nil. Corporate services. First item is CS010625, list of accounts paid for the period ending 31st of May 2025. Councillors, you have an officer's recommendation to receive the list of accounts. Can I have a mover for the officer's recommendation, please? Councillor Curtis. Seconder? Councillor Angus. Councillor Curtis.
Nothing to say there. I checked them all out and everything looks pretty good.
Thank you, Councillor Curtis. Councillor Angus.
I didn't believe there was anything obviously out of place. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillors, anyone speaking against? Anyone wish to speak for? Councillor Curtis, you have right of reply.
Nothing to add, Mr. President.
Councillors, if no one's speaking against the officer's recommendation, I'll declare carried without dissent 7-0. Next item is CS02-0625, monthly financial report for the period ending 31st of May 2025. Councillors, you have a officer recommendation to receive the monthly financial report. Can I have a mover for the officer's recommendation, please? Councillor Ross. Seconder, please. Councillor Campbell. Councillor Ross.
Thank you, Mr. President. Very little comment needs to be made. The reports do speak well for themselves. The information is quite clearly presented, which I hope makes it more accessible to members of the community who want to track how our finances are travelling through the year. And I guess to note that we're within a month now of end of financial year, so these figures are getting close to what they'll be at the end. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Ross. Councillor Campbell.
Nothing for the chair, thanks.
Councillors, anyone speaking against? Right of reply not required, Councillor Ross. Councillors, no one speaking against the officer's recommendation. I'll declare carried with that dissent 7-0. Next item is CS03-0625, adoption of the 25-26 annual budget. We have an officer's recommendation. I'm happy to move the officer's recommendation. I'll get to the right page. Apologies for that. I'll move that. Can I have a seconder for that? Councillor Ross, thank you. Thank you. I'd just like to start off thanking the CEO and staff for the workshops, the numerous workshops leading up into setting of the budget. It's been a very thorough process. I think this is a different year. We've done something a bit different. We've chosen as a council to apply 2.5% to the rate income to cover future capital projects or building and infrastructure. So for the future, and that could include football ovals, it could include community facilities. But what we're trying to do by setting this 2.5%, which goes into reserves, is to help save for future projects. In the past, we begged, borrowed and stole out of our budget to try and make these capital projects. But now we are planning for the future, and the intention of that 2.5% is to save for these future projects. So the increase then, the overall increase in rate was 6%, of which 2.5% was, as I mentioned, for funding future projects, which leaves 3.5% increase, which is in line with the local government price index increase. So we've managed to, through good financial management, to not exceed the increase in costs of providing services to the community. So I think that shows that we're being very financially sensible in managing the budget. So I do again just quickly summarise and say thank you to the staff for putting that together. Councillor Ross.
Thank you, Mr. President. I certainly agree with the input you've provided, and I guess just for the benefit of our community, council is very closely involved in the development of the annual budget. We attend multiple workshops. We provide opinions about what will be acceptable or not acceptable to the community. So by the time the budget comes here, we've been well informed about the detail, even though the motion is only a seemingly small amount of information. We're familiar with a lot. So also grateful to the staff for the amount of input they've provided to us to help with this decision, which is one of the biggest decisions that we make each year. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Ross. Councillors, anyone speaking against? Anyone wish to speak for? Councillor Angus.
Thank you. Yes, just to add, I also thank the staff for their budget workshops, working with us of what we want to see in the budget and what we don't. And the only other thing to add is that there were quite a number of items that were on the wish list that we did, in fact, put a line through because we need to keep rates at a reasonable level of increase. But hopefully next year, with some savings coming, we will be able to put some of those things back on the list. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Angus. Councillors? Councillor
Can I
Curtis?
speak for the motion?
Yes, Councillor Curtis.
Can I make an amendment?
You can. And your amendment, do you want to read out your amendment?
Yeah, after the, with an amendment to reallocate $10,000 from the road maintenance fund or contract and increase it to redirect it to the land care for that amount.
Okay, we have an amendment on the screen to that effect. Councillor Curtis, you're
And the reason why...
Hang on, Councillor Curtis. You're the mover of your amendment. We need a seconder first. Is there a seconder for the amendment? Councillor Curtis says no seconder for the...
Well, that's not good enough.
Councillor Curtis, your amendment lapses for want of a seconder. Councillor Curtis, you can still talk to the budget as is.
Well, yeah, I'll talk, yeah, it seems all right, but it seems, this, is it 6% or 4%, 3.5% the increase going to be?
The increase, Councillor Curtis, is 6%, of which 3.5% deals with inflation, if you like, and 2.5% is to be retained in a reserve for the purpose of helping to fund future community projects such as infrastructure projects, community centres, ovals,
Well, that's
those sort of things.
that's what we do now anyway, you know.
Any other points to make, Councillor Curtis?
I don't know, it's going to change. Yeah, nothing more to say.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Curtis. Councillors, anyone else?
I suppose I support the officer's recommendations. Only comment I'd like to make is we've done a lot of workshopping, and with the new 2.5% rate reserve for future funds and future projects, be worthwhile once the dust settles just to review the long-term financial plan, just so we can align with the community needs. There's a significant expansion in the southern area, which I don't know if the Shire can cope with the amount of work that's going to flow through from there, from I suppose from assets and from just maintaining a decent service level. Thank you.
Councillor Campbell. Councillors, anything else? Okay, so councillors, I've write a reply as the mover. Again, and to repeat myself, but thank you to the staff for all the budget workshops that we did leading up to making what is one of our most important decisions. Look, I think you know, no one likes to increase rates, but it is necessary. The cost of doing business is generally increased. If we don't increase our rates, then we go backwards, because it costs us more to provide the services. If it costs more to provide the services, then we have to provide less services for the same money. So to keep the same level of standard of service, it is necessary to increase the rates by 3.5%. The 2.5% is a big decision to do. So we haven't made this decision before, but we're well aware of the community aspirations for facilities, future facilities, and this 2.5% goes part way to helping funding those future projects. And to be quite honest, we would be in a far better financial position if we'd actually set this many years ago for this purpose. So as it sits at the moment, we need to borrow from Treasury money to do any capital projects for community infrastructure, such as, you know, as I said, ovals and community centres, and that costs money to borrow from Treasury. So if we can start saving, it'll help us reduce the amounts that we need to borrow in the future, and then ultimately save some taxpayer dollars. So hopefully the community will see the value in us making a decision to put 2.5% of the budgeted gross rate income into reserve. Hopefully, we'll see. All right, councillors, that was right of reply. I'll put the budget to the vote. All those in favour of the budget? Against? Carried 6-1. Councillor Curtis voted against the budget. Thank you, Councillor Curtis. Right, next item is Chief Executive Officer section. CEO 01, 0625, Work Health Safety Statistic Reports. Can I have, I'm happy to move this one. I'll move this one. Can I have a seconder for this one? Sorry, Councillor Campbell. Yep. Thank you. Look, I guess it's very pleasing to see the statistics are continuing on a very positive line. But what's most important is the audit, the work health and safety audit that was done. And it showed an overall compliance of 82%. Now this compares to 44% in 2022. So it demonstrates very, very strong commitment to workplace safety and continuous improvement. So I commend the CEO and staff for actually achieving that. It's basically doubling of the compliance. So that was one of the reasons we implemented this type of reporting. So congratulations and thank you for your hard work, and let's see if we can try and get 80 to I don't know, 90 or better next time. So thank you. Councillor Campbell.
Thank you. You've pretty much covered my message. It's just a congratulations. You might have to think about getting the CEO a bigger office. Another gold certificate probably going on the wall. So, no, well done.
Councillors, anyone speaking against? Right of reply is not required for myself. So, councillors, no one speaking against the officer's recommendation. I'll declare carried without dissent 7-0. The next item is CEO 02-0625, Integrated Governance Corporate Planning and Reporting Calendar of 25-26. Councillors, you have an officer's recommendation to receive and note as appropriately worded. Can I have a mover for the officer's recommendation? Councillor Ross. Seconder? I'm happy to second it. Thank you. Councillor Ross.
Thank you, Mr. President. This looks like a fairly simple 2 pages that comprise the document, but in fact, for us as a tool to have a good handle on our responsibilities, our obligations, and be absolutely sure that things are done and that they're done at the correct time during the cycle of the year is most important. The Local Government Act requires us to have integrated planning and reporting procedures in place. I believe this will be a good support to us in staying on track in meeting those obligations.
Thank you, Councillor Ross. Yes, this is a very important step in planning of our work. That being the development of the calendar, although it was inherently understood when these requirements were due, it is good to have them in a published form so that we can refer to them. So thank you to the staff. I just want to ask one question. Item 3, it reads, request that the calendar be reviewed annually and updated as needed. I wonder whether annually should be periodically rather than annually.
So we do that annually anyway as part of our processes, because we need to check if anything has changed in the regulations that now requires us to do something at a different time frame. So we do that as part of our annual processes anyway.
I guess that reviewed annually implies reviewed once. It doesn't imply what you explain. This is why I thought periodic should have been the word, because when I read this, I don't have any problem with it particularly. I mean, I might just be reviewed annually implies once. And then we go and say, and update it as needed. But you can update it as needed annually. That was just a question.
Mr President, would minor amendments to say in point 3 reviewed at least annually?
At least. I don't know.
Would that
Maybe I'm not right. I mean, I don't mind not changing it. I'm just, for clarity point, it says annually, and to me that assumes that's once. And I think the intent is you'll be reviewing it, although the policy shouldn't change or the regulation shouldn't change. Look, I don't think it's a big deal. I'm sure you'll review it as necessary. I won't bother with an amendment. That was just my...
I think it's a minor enough word change to just include the wording at least. It's not an amendment to the
So how would you...
recommendation.
Okay.
To just say reviewed at least annually.
Okay, that's just, it's not an amendment, it's just a minor wording edit. Okay. At least annually. Okay, that's fine. Thank you, Councillor Ross himself. Thank you. That was what we got there. Councillors, anyone speaking against? Anyone wish to speak for? Councillor Ross, you have right to reply?
no, thank you.
So right of reply is not required. Councillors, no one speaking against the officer's recommendation. I'll declare carried without dissent 7-0. Item 10, reports of committees. There are nil. Item 11, motions of which previous notice has been given. There are nil. Item Item 12, questions from members without notice. Are there any questions? Councillor Curtis.
Mr President, do you know when this the community housing is going to be finalised? Will that deal with the Homes West?
I'll have to refer to the Chief Executive Officer.
Councillor Curtis, the process is quite a long process. We have just lodged the submission to subdivide the block. So it is not going to happen in the next, I'd say quarter at least, because the subdivision first needs to happen before the other processes and the sale of our shares can go through.
And one more question, are we going to own the land still when it's subdivided, or will they own the whole lot? Do you know?
That is the reason for the subdivision, is for them to be taking control of the whole area, land and buildings.
I'll wait and see what happens then when it's finalised this year sometime, you reckon?
If all goes well with all of the due processes between the department and us, yes.
Yep. Thank you.
Anything else, Councillor Curtis?
No, thank you.
Councillors, any other questions? Okay, no questions. Item 13, new business of an urgent nature introduced by decision of the meeting. There are nil. Item 14, meeting closed to the public. There are nil. Item 15, closure. I declare the meeting closed at 7:33. Thank you.